Hi everyone, this is Regina from Regina's Baking Academy, where we have been taking a fun journey learning how baking is cool. Well, I wanted to come to you this evening, one, because I haven't seen y'all for a little while, so I hope everyone is doing okay and that you've had a good week. So, for most of us, it may be good evening, good night. For some, depending on where you are, it could be good morning or good afternoon. But I hope your Friday is going well. Okay? I wanted to share about the joy of baking. Now, if you have watched me over, hello Shauna, how you doing, sugar? If you have been with me when I first started Regina's Baking Academy, I started it as a challenge, a 100 live stream personal challenge. And what grew from there was my sincere joy and desire in teaching, sharing, and discovering the joys of baking, whether you're doing it for the first time or you haven't done it in a while, or you're doing it as a hobby, or you consider yourself an expert in some things but you're still learning. So you come here to see what's going on. Or you're a great home cook, you know you do yourself well, and you want to add some things to your arsenal. Well, this is the place to be. I'm coming to you though as a personal uh, testimony, with a personal testimony, not as a personal testimony, although I am that. But I wanted to re-emphasize just what I mean when I say baking is cool and the memories that can be created when you're baking. So some of you may know that my my son turned 25 this week, and that's a milestone, guys. So I'm a mom with four beautiful young adults now. And well, one is, I got my baby, I still call her my baby, but she's in college. But anyway, I know that they're going to do something really fun on tomorrow. They have it all planned out, they got it worked out. It's going to be really nice, a really great time. And that's okay, that's fun. But his birthday, guys, was on Wednesday. So even though I knew that they had something pre-planned and worked out and it's going to be great, it still meant something to acknowledge him on his birthday. Now, he's a young man, and I was maybe thinking he wouldn't want a cake or something like that. But when I said it to him about a week and a half ago, he was like, "Ma, that's a good idea." Because initially I was going to make him a cake to take to the venue. Um, but he was like, "Ma, that's you don't have to go all out and do that." And I'm like, I want to. You're my son. I love you, and it would be a labor of love. But he was like, "You know what, Ma? What I really wouldn't mind if you did the cake, at your house, and me and the girls came over, right? So everyone is out the house now, so I'm an empty nester almost, because we still have the younger one in college, but she's away most of the time." So he was like, "That would be cool if we got to share together, me, my sisters, you and Dad. Like, I'd like that." So I said, "Okay, let me think about the things he likes, and I'll create a beautiful cake so that they can have that with their brother on his birthday, even though they're going to go out and have a nice time tomorrow." But that's okay. That's actually awesome. So I was thinking about it because they're older now. They do different things. They have their own friends and their own lives, but they stay tight. They're really good together as sisters and brother. But we don't get to see them often. It's not like they come over every Sunday and stuff like that because they live in their lives and that's okay and no nothing wrong with that. But as a mom, and I really love my children. It is really a joy to see them, because now they go home. If y'all see this, don't be mad. Y'all know y'all feel the same way. So my thought was, let's have his cake on his birthday. Let him be able to celebrate that with his sisters and his parents. And the game was on. The Lakers was playing whoever else. I should say it like that because the Lakers didn't win, but that's another conversation, right? But he's a big LeBron fan, guys. So I'm in here thinking, for the last few days, what am I going to do for him? How I'm going to make this cake, right? Because I just finished not too long ago making my granddaughter's birthday cake. And if anyone saw that cake was pretty awesome by her standards. It was kid tested and mother approved. So I was thinking, what can I do for my son? So what I decided is I know one of his favorite colors are blue. And he likes green, but he likes blue as well. And I know his favorite cake is my coconut cake with the cream cheese frosting and filling with pineapple filling and a coconut, right? Now, usually, that's a 2-layer cake. I frost it, I put the coconut on it and sprinkle it with the coconut, and it's awesome. They love it. I imbibe it, make it nice, level it off, all that good stuff. That's what you do. That's what you're supposed to do. So I had to plan this out, though. I had to have a strategy, right? Because I go to work. So that means I had to think about when I was going to make the cakes, make the frostings, the frosting. And then I had to think about when I was going to have time to put all of that together. All right, Shauna. So, this is what I had to do. It was my project. So, it was Operation Birthday Cake. And I had to think about what strategy was I going to use to be able to do what I needed to do in a timely manner, go to work, come home, do what I need to do at home. So luckily, I cooked. So part of that is dinner, right? When you come home from work, you want to unwind, have dinner. So I'm thinking, but his birthday's Wednesday, so I have to start prepping the cake and all the components before Wednesday because it's a process and I can't do all of that on the day of. Okay. So I decided that I was going to think about what things I could make in advance. So I started with the frosting. I made the Swiss buttercream frosting. Now the Swiss buttercream was the frosting I used for the outside, not the crumb coat. The crumb coat was the cream cheese frosting that I also used as the filling with the pineapple filling. So I said, okay, how can I do this? I can either get up early in the morning on Monday and Tuesday or do something in the evening on Monday and Tuesday. So it depended, right? So I had to manage my time. So now I had to use some time management skills. I had to think about what were going to be the components and how I needed to set it up, and then what it was going to take for me to finish it and decorate the cake. Now, the reason why I'm giving you the background is because you know how things happen. It could be, something happens at work, something happens at home, and it throws you off, right? So I'm always aware that things can happen and throw off your game plan. So what I decided to do was to plan in advance. In that way, if anything did come up, it wouldn't throw me too far off, and I'd still be able to meet my obligations work wise. Come home, if I had to cook, I would do that. Fortunately, my husband cooked dinner on Wednesday, so I didn't have to cook. That was cool, but he wasn't a lot, so then I had to put it away and all of that. So that was fine, no problem. So here's what I did, guys. I made the Swiss buttercream first. I put it away. I made like a big bowl of the Swiss buttercream on Monday, right? I put it in the fridge, and then I took it out Tuesday because it needs to be at room temperature before you used it. And I got up Tuesday morning and I made the cakes. So I made 3. I actually made a triple layer cake this time. So that meant that not only was I making a coconut cake, but I also had to do something with the measurements, right? So I had to increase the recipe by 1.5. So the base recipe for the cake is, 2 cups sugar, 5 eggs separated, baking soda, baking powder, coconut extract, vanilla, almond. Then I had to use cake flour, 2.25 cups of cake flour. I had to use canola oil and butter, cream cheese, 10 egg sugar. I had to think about all these ingredients, and mind you, because I wasn't doing the base recipe, I had to be mindful that all of the ingredients needed to be increased by half, another half, right? So I did 1.5. That's really important, guys, especially when it comes to measuring. When you're doing your eggs, if you're measuring your sugars, your wets, your dries, that sort of thing. My milk, I had to make sure it was the buttermilk was 1 cup at a straight recipe. So I had to remember everything had to be done 1.5 times, right? So that was the first thing. So I made sure I had enough butter. I had to take out the butter, have it at room temp, take out the cream cheese. Now the reason why I'm taking the time to share this with you is because you want to make sure when you're doing your mise en place, that means you have things in place. So what I did, because I do this recipe a lot, but oftentimes I either do one preparation or double it. This time I was doing 1.5. So I definitely needed to look at the recipe to make sure I did it the way it was supposed to be done so we could get the outcome we wanted, right? Which was a delicious, yummy cake that looked pretty too. That I wanted it to look pretty too. So I did the Swiss buttercream. After I baked the cake, thank you. After I baked the cake, I got up early Tuesday morning, and I baked the cake. No, I'm telling the fib. I apologize. I actually got up Wednesday morning. And I baked the cake. So I did 3 9-inch rounds of cake batter. So that was 1.5 times the recipe. I want to show you a small version because I had a little left over. So I just want to show you guys what that looked like prior to the decorations. Okay. This is it, guys. Can you see that? Can you see it? Oh, the smell of the coconut in that cake. And then I imbibed it with a simple syrup, which is a combination of 1 part sugar, 1 part water, and then you put the extract in it you want to infuse your cake. And basically what I'm saying is you want to moisturize your cake so it doesn't dry out, guys. So imbibe means to simply moisturize your cake. So I'll show you. So this is what I used to imbibe the cake. And it was 1 part sugar, 1 part water, and then I actually put 2 extracts. I put coconut and then a little bit of almond extract. And then I mixed it up and I imbibed the cakes. So most times when I'm doing cakes for service or someone orders a cake, so that happens, I level off the cake, meaning I take off the top crumb after the cake cools. Here's a tip. When you want to level your cake, you must let your cakes cool, guys, because if you do it too fast, you may take off more than you intend to. All right, give it a chance to cool, at least a good half an hour to an hour, depending on the type of cake and the density of the cake. So follow the instructions. That's really important. So I got up on Wednesday morning. I made the cakes. I let them cool, took them out the pan, and I put them in the refrigerator. So when I came home, I knew I had my work, I had my work cut out for me. What I also did while the cakes were in the oven, I made the cream cheese frosting because that was actually the filling in the crumb coat. So I wanted that to be good. So I made the cream cheese frosting while the cakes were in the oven. So, and I also want to share that it's very important to know the best place in your oven where your cakes will rise the way they're supposed to. Because sometimes if you put the cakes too high, it may not rise the way it needs to, and it may actually sink a little bit. And if you put it too low, you may scorch the bottom of the cake because the heat is coming right underneath. So you really want to know your oven. That's why it's important to know your appliances and know what you're working with. So when I think about mise en place, it's not only the ingredients you need and the directions and such, but you also want to make sure you have the tools you need and your appliances, or it really hinders your process. You have to be a little flexible, and there's certain things you can flex on, but if your oven doesn't work, there's no getting around that, guys. Okay, so that's really important. Just true story. um so I did the cakes, I made the cream cheese frosting, I put that in the refrigerator. But with this Swiss buttercream, because it's really butter and egg whites and sugar, it's very solid. So in order for me to properly use it when I came home from work on Wednesday, I had to make sure that I took it out early enough so it could get up to room temp and be nice and soft and workable, because it holds really well for at least 24 hours after you use it. You can sit it and it is fine. But I put it in the refrigerator, guys, because remember I made it on Monday night. So I need to put it in the refrigerator and let it, solidify. You don't want it out 2 days in a row. So I took it out Wednesday morning when I knew when I came home I was going to have to get to work. So I had to set up my station. The reason why I'm saying this and sharing this with you, because we're not doing it now, because I did it already. So I want to take you into the process. And it's important to understand when you see a beautiful cake or beautiful treats and they taste good and they're done well and the presentation is really on point, it's not that it's hard, but it's a process. And the more you appreciate it, think about the person that did it. It took them time to make that beautiful, to make sure the ingredients were right, to make sure things were fresh. Okay? And then if you're the one doing it, you even have a deeper appreciation of what it takes when you make a beautiful treat, whether it's a baked good, it could be a savory thing that you bake, right? Biscuits and such. But It's when you put your time in it, it really matters your outcome because you're bringing joy to people. Now, I'm talking about the cake, but it's really the foil to the whole experience that was here on Wednesday. And I'm going to tell you why. Because my children are older and they're doing their own thing, it's not like they get together every day. They can't. Like my oldest one is a mom. My one is in college. Another one, she's busy traveling and stuff, and my son is doing his stuff. So they definitely their own selves. So it's not often that we could get them here all at one time, because if they do stuff together, they're going out. They're not sitting up in the house. They're grown. They want to go out. But doing the birthday cake and the fact that my son wanted that, and he wanted it to be with his sisters, he was like, I would be happy, like, just having a cake and having us, his mom, his dad, and his sisters. He was great with that. And Geneva, little mama, which is, that's my grandbaby, so she be wherever we at. Okay? So that's what I did. Now I'm going to show you the cake. What's left of it. And I'm going to go through the stages of what I did. Okay? So I'm going to take you around so you can see the cake. I got cookie dough. I got to make my mom some shortbread cookies. I'll tell you that story in a minute. This is the cake, guys. I want you to get a good look at it. So I'm going to give you an aerial view. Okay? So you see how much is left, right? Now this is actually a great view because I want you to see the layers. I want you to appreciate that when you do something with love and you're patient and you take your time, yes, family is everything. You really do it well. So I'm going to tell you what I did. This is a 3-layer cake. This is the coconut cake, and it's one of my top requests is this one. So it's a coconut cake. So that means there's coconut in the cake, all throughout the cake. Then in between the filling is the cream cheese frosting, fresh pineapples, crushed, I won't say, but they're crushed pineapples with coconut flakes in between both of those layers. So that's what's in there. Now on the outside, the crumb coat is the cream cheese frosting. So that's the crumb coat, y'all. And it was important to let that crumb coat sit in the refrigerator and solidify. So then I put the top coat, which is what you see is the blue. Now I also imbibed each layer, top and bottom. So first I flipped it over and I imbibed the bottom and then the top. I did the same with the second layer and then with the third layer. Okay? Now when you build your cake, usually what you do if you have, 2 layers or what have you, 2 or more layers, what you do sometimes is you take the second cake or the third cake and you flip it over so the bottom is showing up because it's the flattest part of the cake. Okay? So let me just show you the top. I did some fondant work. These stars are fondant. I made them at my job on my lunch break. I ate for 15 minutes and the rest of the 45 minutes I made stars. I actually did a small little video about that. So I do fondant work. So now it's been pushed down a little bit because I had the aluminum foil on it, but I put up some pictures earlier. So after the crumb coat set, then I took it out and I put on the blue. Now the blue frosting is the Swiss buttercream, and the reason why that I chose that as the outside because it holds really well, and it's such a great feeling, guys. I just love it. Okay. Hey, how you doing, Jason? So this is the cake, at least the half of the cake, right? So after I did the crumb coat, guys, and I let it sit for about 30 minutes, while it was in the refrigerator, I started prepping my Swiss buttercream. And I put it in a piping bag because it's actually easier to spread the buttercream when it's in a piping bag than, having to take the spatula and go back and forth. If you don't have a piping bag, it's okay. I can give you a tip, but it's a little old school. Hey. So, if you don't have a piping bag and you don't really need to use a piping bag, you can use actually a Ziploc bag, put the tip on the end of it, and then hold it. Oh, you want me to show you what that look like? Okay, hold on, I got you. I'm going to show you what you do if you don't have a piping bag. It's good to have them though, because that's the best way to do it. But in a pinch, you could put your Swiss buttercream in a piping bag, in a plastic bag. Tip. Let me see if I got a tip out here. I do. Alright. So say for instance, I was using this tip. I would put it in a bag, and then I would take the Swiss buttercream. I'm just going to take a little bit. Swiss buttercream. And you take it, you put it in the bag. And you push it down. And you cut the tip right here. You cut the tip, and then you frost your cake. So, if you don't have a piping bag, I suggest you have it because it's important. However, sometimes things happen. Sometimes you have everything else and you forget, oh my goodness, I need a piping bag. Okay, no worries. Ziploc bags are so good. You put that tip in there, but because this is not as thick as a piping bag, I would suggest that you double this bag if you had to. One day I'm going to make a cake using just what we got in the house because we're going to act like we don't know. So we're going to have one of those. It's going to be a fiddle faddle. Oh my God, fiddle faddle. It's going to be a fiddle faddle cake, okay? So you can see how I have it on an angle, and then you just hold it and you do your stuff. All right? Okay. I would do it for you. Y'all want me to show you? Boy, y'all are pushy. Okay. Now y'all making me go into my hat. My bag of tricks. Alright. I'm just going to get a tip. Let's see here. Okay. What we got? Alright. I was trying to get something a little more. Alright. So, let's just say I don't have a piping bag. Oh my God. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to get some scissors. I'm going to get a pretty tip, guys. I want us to use it. Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay. Got the tip. So, now mind you, when you do a hack, you gotta do it right. So this is the first thing. I'm doubling the bag because you want it to be strong. The reason why you use the piping bag like this, these are the ones I use the most, is because it's sturdy. It's made of a stronger grade plastic to hold your buttercream. These aren't meant for that. So this is why these are the ones you use. But if you don't have it, you singing? He's singing? Oh Lord. So if you don't have the bag, double your Ziploc bag. I'm going to put the piping tip right here where I want the buttercream to come out. And I'm going to cut a little hole, just a little one. Now, the reason why I'm not going to cut it as big as I would, because this bag doesn't have the same strength as the regular piping bag does. So you don't want to cut too big of a hole, because I have to push it through. See? You don't want to cut it too big. So it's just a little hole. But now I got to cut a hole here too. So let's see how this works, guys. Snip, snip. Okay. So now we're going to put this bag, this one inside. And we're going to strategically place it over the tip. Okay. And now we're going to get that squeezed in there. Make sure it's in there. Okay. So now you're going to wrap it as if you had a piping bag. And since we already had the cake, guys, don't tell the kids, but I'm just going to decorate the top a little bit. Because we already had the cake, so right now I can use it as a demo. Are y'all with me now? Are you with me? Okay. So see what I'm doing with the tip? You see what happened? And I'm going to tell you why it happened. Because the hole was cut too big. Remember, it's not the same grade as a piping bag. No worries. You know why we have no worries? Because at first we don't succeed, we try again. And that's what we're going to do. Because now I'm determined that this is going to work. So I'm just going to cut a tiny. I cut it too big. Remember what I said, don't cut it too big. Okay. So we're going to try this one more again, because we're going to get this right. But this also tells you why it's important to have what you need in the kitchen. Sometimes hacks are more work than you want to have to do. Okay? So we're going to try this again, guys. Right now. Live. This is real life happening. And let's make believe we got a real cake to do. Let's see. Let's see. Did it work? Let me see. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Let's see what happens, guys. So what I'm going to do is hold the tip because I know the bag isn't strong. Let's see what I can do. Hey. All right now. Do some rosettes. I'm going to see if we could do a shell. Little couple of shells. Let's see. Let's see. Yep. All right. I'm doing a couple more. I want y'all to see it though. Here we go. Here we go. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like up top, okay? So, if you're ever in a bind, actually I used 3 bags because I had snipped a hole too big when I did the first one. See that? That's what you do. You have to get it done, guys. You have to be willing to be flexible. All right, so those are shells. Okay, and if I had to, I could do a whole border with that bag and that tip. Okay. Fortunately, I didn't have to do that because I had the stuff I needed. So when I tell you about mise en place, guys, remember I always say it's not just about having, thank you, it's not just about having the ingredients. That's important, of course. But you also want to make sure that you have the tools to do the job. It's just like if you were at the job and you had to do a report. You had all your information and you knew what to do, but the computers don't work. So then what you going to do, right? So there's certain things you need as that vehicle to get your stuff done. I need an oven. There's no way I could bake a cake without an oven, so I need to make sure it's working. There's certain things you need, and there's sometimes things you could be flexible on. But until you get your foundation right, you don't want to take chances. Not when you're doing something like this. This was too important for me to do that. So I had to make sure I had everything. Okay. So back to what I'm sharing about the story. Okay. So now the beauty of this. Let me tell you how cool this was. The cake was great. They loved it. But let me tell you about the world of experience that created for these 4 young adults. They got to come home where they grew up to their parents' home, and it was intimate, and they got to be themselves. They talked smack with each other. They were taking pictures and joshing with each other. And I was in the kitchen working on the cake, but every so often I would pop out and look at them and just think that these 4 children were little, and they used to sit at the table, at the Little Tykes table, and eat dinner at that table. And now they are young adults out here in this world, learning how to live it on their terms and make adjustments as they go. And they were here together, just having fun. They were able to let their hair down. They didn't have to put on any airs or, stunt for their friends and, talk that talk or whatever it was. They were just able to be and be comfortable. That was everything. So the cake was the reason to celebrate. Like, the cake was part of that. But the biggest part, and remember I shared this at Thanksgiving and Christmas, it's not just about being in the kitchen, you cooking, you busting your chops, you making all this food. It's about those memories you're going to create. It's about, they will never forget how much fun they had on his birthday. Now, they're going to have a great time tomorrow. But they had a great time on his birthday with their brother. And he got to have fun with his sisters and his mom and dad all together. Okay. Okay. So it was really about having community in your home and creating those memories. So while I enjoyed making the cake, I enjoyed making it, and he loved it. It was done well, and it's not a brag. It's like it's supposed to be done well, right? If it was done bad, I would tell you I messed that up. But thank God that wasn't the case. So they got to have those memories, guys. So when you're baking and you're fixing something, whether you're making a bunch of biscuits or some cupcakes or some cookies, you're creating memories. If you ever had to do a bake sale or you went to a bake sale and you took a cookie and you walked away, you said, that was good. You got that memory. Think about all those little kids that are going up there saying, "Can I have this? Can I have that?" And they're looking forward to it because they know that parent that comes makes the good stuff. Or that parent is going to get the good stuff to bring to that sale. Or Thanksgiving when, you know, the teachers are like, "Oh, I want this parent to bring this because they make it really good." Those are the memories, and they remembered it from last year. My kids would always come home and be like, "Mom, can you make macaroni and cheese? Can you make a baked chicken? Can you make a pan of cook? Can you make this? Can you make that?" It wasn't so much because that's what they wanted. That's what their teachers asked for. So when you are in that kitchen and you're cooking or you're baking and you're preparing and you're getting a little frustrated, you feel a little like, "Oh my goodness," pause. Think about the why. Think about why you're in that kitchen and the memories you're creating for the people that you love and care about, or for the people that want to order your stuff. It's okay to say that, but they ask you to do it because you are going to put your effort into it. You're going to make sure it's done right. You're going to check your mise en place. You're going to make sure you have your ingredients and you're going to have the instructions. Okay? That's why this cake was only part of the experience they had on Wednesday, of the experience I had, my husband. You know, him and his son going back and forth about the game and laughing about LeBron and the fact that they didn't win. Okay? So that's a whole nother. But those were the memories. All of that was created. And here's another thing. My oldest daughter called me the next day, which was Thursday. And she said, "Mom, we really needed that." She said, "That was so much fun. We all had such a good time. There was no negativity, nobody getting upset with each other, no attitude, none of it. Just sitting there being together, whispering, talking to each other, having conversations. I'm talking over here, they talking over there." They just needed that. And that is what happens when you get in that kitchen and you bake something. You create those memories. That was more important to me than anything, y'all. I'd have made 5 cakes if I had to get that, what I got on Wednesday. So when I tell you baking is cool, when I tell you it's important to pay attention, when I tell you do not go in that kitchen if you got an attitude because you bring that energy in that space, I'm telling you the truth. You understand me? I just really wanted to share that. It was work. I had to have a plan because it was levels to it, y'all. It wasn't just, I'm just this. I decorated. And did y'all pick up my sprinkle game? I don't think you picked up my sprinkle game. Let me help y'all all the way out. Okay? I'm going to do that. So, what you don't know is that I incorporated some of the beautiful sprinkles that were gifted to me by Shauna. So up top, I had the snowflakes, and down at the bottom, I had the blue winter sprinkles. Look how pretty. And you know, one of the things that I learned is that less is more. You see, you just need a touch. I didn't need to like slather it up there, but it just, yeah. The cake did bring us all together, Shauna. But look at that now. You see this? Look at that. And these stars are fondant, so I use fondant. I did a little tutorial on fondant. Actually, on Wednesday on my lunch break, I did a tutorial on how to use the fondant. But I go deeper than that. But okay. So it was levels to this cake, and so because I knew I wanted to take the major space on that cake to decorate and show off the accents, I wrote his happy birthday at the bottom. See that? And that is how you create a world of experience through the vehicle of baking. And that's why baking is cool. And so are you. So, I got some surprises coming up. I am launching my baking classes. They will not be like I do tutorials, but they're going to be more intensive. So, if you want information regarding that, in this, if you have a replay, if you're seeing this, put replay and then put your email. That way I can respond back to you to give you the dates of my upcoming classes. Okay? And we're going to do things like baking, cakes. We're going to discuss the foundation, mise en place, and what that means and why it's important. Okay? And how that sets the foundation for you coming up with a great product, whatever it is. But we are going to do some recipes. Okay? Some basic recipes. So I'm going to do introductory classes to start off. Okay? And it's by group. It's not individual. They're group classes. Okay? So I'm going to be giving you information. So I want you to tune in. Because I'm going to set it up. You'll know where you have to pay and all of that good stuff. I'm going to have all that available. But I want you to know that when you are baking and creating, sometimes you're recreating memories from your childhood. The holiday, the smells, the oven with the goodies being prepared, the sweet potato pies or the pumpkin pies or the 7-Up cake or the Sakatumi cake, or if the homemade buttermilk biscuits, or that pumpkin cheesecake, or those cookies, snickerdoodles, like all those memories you can recreate, and you can make your own memories. So I got to make my own memories on Wednesday. And the cake was part of it. But the most important part was the fact that it brought people I love together. And that was amazing. And the reason why I'm so excited, because we do take for granted that, we'll get together, we're going to do this and do that. And sometimes you see them, and sometimes, I talk to my kids all the time. I do. But I do enjoy when I see them. And it's like, they grown now. Oh my God, right? Like, but they got to enjoy each other. They enjoyed us. It was fun. And guess what? They went home. I had to get up the next morning and fix breakfast for everybody. Although if I had to, I would, because that's how it is, okay? But this cake was part of the experience. So you get to create different things like that, whether you're doing it for yourself or for someone you love. Maybe sometimes there's people that aren't feeling good, and you take them a dozen of cookies, or you bake them a dish that they like. My goodness, what a great way to be. What you offer that. And if you're a little sketchy or you're a little nervous about how to bake and stuff, well, that's where I come in. All right? That's why you come to Regina's Baking Academy. I'll show you how to do it. And there's no judgment. Wherever you are is wherever you are. And we'll take you where you can go. Okay? So, again, if you see this in a replay, please put replay and put your email, and I will respond back to you. Okay? And I just wanted to share what baking one cake, how many memories this cake created for my family. So I would love to have the opportunity to help you create memories for yours. Okay? Take care. Bye for now. And remember, be patient with the process. Be patient with yourself. And be patient with each other. Okay? We're not perfect. But hopefully we're working to be a little better each day. So, bye-bye for now. And I hope y'all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.